With us now via the phone from New York is real estate mogul and apprentice host Donald Trump. And Mr. Trump, it's so great to have you with us again.
Great. Thank you, Kathleen.
Well, President Obama wants to lower the corporate tax rate from 35% to 28%, while at the same time boosting overall revenues from corporate taxation by banning deductions and loopholes. What is your take on his proposal?
Well, I haven't seen the proposal yet because it just came out and I'm at a board meeting, so I can't exactly comment on it. However, any way you can lower the rate is good. You have to be careful with taking away certain deductions, but obviously certain deductions wouldn't be so bad. I think that we should do something with respect to oil and what they're doing to us, because the oil companies are really having a field day. They are doing numbers that are absolutely incredible. And, of course, they empower, if you think about it, they empower OPEC, because somebody has to sell what OPEC produces. And that's pretty much the way I feel about it, and I've always felt. I think something should happen with respect to the oil companies, and I'm not talking about in a positive sense. So that would be basically it. I mean, any way you can reduce the rate is a positive. 28% doesn't sound low enough to me. I think that you need more than that, because I don't know what the deductions are. That hasn't been specified yet. But 28% does not sound low enough. But any reduction is a positive.
What number do you like?
Well, I think you could go a lot lower than 28%. 28% would still keep us as one of the most taxed nations anywhere in the country from a corporate standpoint. So 28% is still very high.
Now, Mitt Romney, who you endorsed, said in September that he wants to lower it to 25%. You think 25 is good?
Well, I think 25% is a lot better than 28%. And again, we are in a very, very fragile period of time. Oil is going through the roof. Gasoline is going to hit $5, $6. Who knows what it's going to hit? There's nobody representing us, and certainly not representing us well with respect to the OPEC nations. So they're laughing all the way to the bank. So if oil is going to go up, and it certainly seems to be, and again, they're doing whatever they want to do, they're laughing. But if oil goes up and if gasoline goes up to what I think it will go up to, and I told you this 3 years ago that this was going to happen, we're going to end up with another problem like we had a number of years ago. Very, very sad. So the more you can, so it's a fragile period, and the more you can lower that tax rate, the better.
Okay, well, the White House must know that there's virtually no chance of getting this done this year because Congress is bitterly divided, and yet the timing of this announcement is very interesting, just one day before Mitt Romney was scheduled to outline his tax proposal. Do you think that this is just a campaign gimmick?
Well, the president certainly wants to do something to deaden the proposal that is coming out tomorrow by Mitt Romney, which I'm hearing good things about, but again, I haven't seen. So certainly he's doing that from a political standpoint, and you can't blame him. He's trying to get there first. But again, 28% is quite high, and 28% still keeps us as one of the highest taxed corporate nations, and that's not good.
Now, President Obama's tax rate on dividends is expected to soar to almost 45%. What is the impact of that to shareholders and corporations?
Well, that's unbelievably bad news for investors, and it's unbelievably bad news, I think, for jobs, because, frankly, you won't have very many jobs with that kind of an incentive. The incentive is taken away. That's not good news.
Now, the final GOP presidential debate is tonight, so we'd like to get your thoughts real quickly on some of the candidates, beginning with Mitt Romney. You endorsed him. Does Romney get the nomination, or is that in jeopardy at this point?
Well, I think he's doing very well. The last 3 days there's been really a surge, if we can use a term that a lot of people have been using for lots of different reasons. There's a surge going on with respect to him. I saw that Mitt was down by quite a bit, and now he's up by 3 or 4 points in Michigan. I think it's important that he wins it. I don't know that it's the end-all, but I do think it's very important that he wins Michigan. The people know him. The people like him. And I think he ultimately will win Michigan, and I think he'll also win Arizona, and I think he'll do very well in the debate.
You think he'll go on to win the nomination?
I do think so, yes.
All right, Rick Santorum, how do you explain his surge, and do you think that he has what it takes to go all the way?
Well, I can't really explain his surge. He lost by 18 or 19 points when he was a sitting senator, which is a record, just about a record, and when he was in Pennsylvania, and I just don't understand how you can lose by a tremendous, even lose by a record-setting amount, and then say, okay, I lost in Pennsylvania, but now I'm going to go out and I'm going to run for president. It sort of shouldn't work that way. The people in Pennsylvania gave him an F. That's for the word flunk. And he flunked out of Pennsylvania, and now he's running for president. And, you know, there's something about a group of people that know him well not wanting him, and now everybody else is supposed to say, oh, gee, he's wonderful. No, I don't think he's going to make it, and I don't think, based on a lot of his views, that he would have even a small chance of winning the major election, the main election. I don't think that he will win the election if he does make it. So it's a problem.
What about Newt Gingrich? Can he make a comeback?
Well, I know Newt, and I like him a lot. He's a terrific guy. I think certainly he's got to go a long way. I think it's going to be very tough. He's got some amazing ideas and some very big ideas, but I think it's going to be tough at this point because he's gone down quite a bit over the last number of weeks.
Mr. Trump, what GOP ticket, president and vice president, has the best chance of winning back the White House?
Well, I think what you'll have is Mitt Romney running with somebody, whether it's Marco Rubio, it could happen. It could be Chris Christie, who's terrific, who's a friend of mine, who's a terrific guy and would be a terrific person on the ticket. I think there are a number of very, very good people who could be on the ticket and do very well. I think the fact is that we'll have to see what happens because, 4 or 5 months from now, if oil is at $5 or $6 a gallon, if gasoline is at $5 or $6 a gallon, and if oil is at $125 or $110 or $130 or $150 like it was previously, which in my opinion was the primary cause of the difficulties that we had, you're going to have a president that's going to have a hard time winning.
Do you see oil going back to $150?
Well, I don't know about 150, but I certainly see it going up because we have nobody that's speaking for us. There's nobody speaking for the people. We don't have a president that calls OPEC and says, fellas, this is not going to happen. You're not doing this to us again. We just don't have that, and it's very, very sad. Believe me, they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for us, Kathleen, and it's a very, very sad situation that we don't have somebody that really fights for us. They are having a field day. Their streets are lined in gold. Nobody's ever made so much money as these people. And between what China does to us and others, and now you add OPEC to it, and you look at what's happening to the oil price and to gasoline prices, it's really a sad situation.
Donald Trump, thanks so much for joining us here on Newsmax TV.
Thank you very much.